Hindi films have been traveling for almost a century. Not just Hindi films, but Indian films have been traveling for a century. But everyone has been talking about the travels of Bollywood films and have been looking at it as a fallout of globalization, ignoring the earlier flows of Indian cinema since the 1930s. Indian films have been traveling since the 30s. Only when they began to travel to the West, only when they began to find a bigger audience in the West, even though there was an audience for the West for Indian films in the West as early as the 50s, when we found that there's evidence of 100 films having been exported to the West and did find some takers, some audience in the West. It's only the post-90s audience of Hindi films in their new avatar as Bollywood films that has attracted inordinate media attention, and it's this new market for Indian films in the West, among not only in the West because they've been exported to the West, but among the white audience that has become the talk of the whole world, and that is seen as the globalization of Indian cinema, Indian commercial cinema, a movement which began almost a century ago. So in this section, I'm going to look at, in this unit, I'm going to compare two markets for Indian films. The traditional markets for Indian films, we saw in the UNESCO report that the British Malaya was one of the traditional markets for Indian films, and I'm going to compare this traditional market of Indian films with the new market for Indian films in the West by looking at two spaces, the space of Singapore and the space of Germany, and also comparing a few other perspectives. Now, in the case of Singapore, it's extremely interesting because here the old market, because this is a traditional market for Indian films, the old audience of Indian films in Singapore, who some of whom were born in the British Malaya, they rub shoulders with the new audience of Bollywood films. So there's an assemblage of the old audience, the old Chinese, the Tamil and the Punjabi audience, many of them with a history in the plantation economy, with the new audience who consist of professional workers or new NRI audience, new expatriate audience who have become avid fans of Indian films since the 1990s, and also a new generation of viewers, a new generation audience who are who have no knowledge of Indian cinema but seem to enjoy the new brand of Bollywood films. So we're going to look at some of these, we're going to meet some of these audience, and I will summarize the interviews I had with some of them instead of playing the interviews for you. So I take you to the Jade Cineplex in Shaw Towers, which is a cineplex exclusively dedicated to the screening of Indian films in Singapore, the screening of Hindi films in Singapore. And I must point out that in all of Southeast Asia, unlike Bangkok, where we found Indian films, Hindi films were screened once a month. Some films in other languages as well were screened in theaters only once a month, largely due to the efforts of the Singh brothers. In Singapore is the only part of Southeast Asia which has theaters exclusively dedicated for the screening of Indian films, and there are some theater complexes in which by convention or because of their location, Hindi films are screened, and there are other theaters in which Tamil screens are screened. In addition to that, some of the mainstream multiplexes on Orchard Road also screen a few Hindi films, such as Chandni Chowk to China was screened in one of the mainstreams one of the cineplexes located on Orchard Road when it was released in 2008-2009. But Jade Cineplex in short hours is one such complex where Hindi films are, which is exclusively dedicated to the screening of Hindi films. So we walk into Jade Theatre it's on Beach Road, and it's just across the National Library of Singapore. When we cross the road, we enter a different world. We are crossing the road, and when we come to this side, we enter a totally different world altogether. I take you to the ticket counter, and the friendly assistant, the Malay assistant in the ticket counter, who in addition to selling tickets also offers you friendly advice about the kind of films which are doing well, and which film you should be watching and which you shouldn't be watching, or which hasn't found many takers. And she's my informant on the films which did well, which surprised me, considering that those were not the kind of films which were expected to do well. But in the diaspora spaces, as I was warned by the owner of a video parlor in Bangkok, the films which do well in India are not necessarily the films that do well in the diasporas. And this information was confirmed by the friendly counter assistant in Jade Cineplex. I meet a young couple who are queuing up to watch tickets for a new release of that week, a new release which was Come Back to Ishq. It was screened in this Cineplex dedicated to the screening of Hindi films. And Singapore's now the Bollywood Assemblage, as I said, function with the multiple histories of Indian migration as well as those of cinematic exhibition in the case of Singapore, through which Singapore's different ethnic populations such as the Malay and the Chinese were also inserted in the Bollywood space, along with South Asians and expatriate Indians. So here this couple is Malay of Malay heritage. The young woman is completely Malay, but the young her escort, her friend, is of mixed parentage. His father is an Indian and his mother is his father is Malay and his mother is an Indian. So because of that, he is able to not only understand the films, the visual aspect of films like most Malays do, but like many Malays, and because of his knowledge of Urdu, which he's got from his mother, from one of his parents, he is able to understand the language of the film as well. And this couple, the young woman was a big fan of Shahid Kapoor and John Abraham, and the couple sang a song from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai for me. But other than the young couple, I also met this mother and daughter duo, the Malay mother and daughter, which revealed to me the difference between the preferences of the new generation, the old audience of Hindi films, the mother for instance, and the new audience of Bollywood films, the daughter. While the mother claimed to be a big fan of Hindi films of the 1970s, such as Diwar, and was a die-hard fan of Shashi Kapoor and Amitabh Bachchan, and she found the Hindi films of the 1970s better than the present generation of Bollywood films, because according to her, they had a storyline, they were more entertaining, and they were more socially oriented than the new films. The daughter, of course, was hooked to the new Bollywood films, and the two ladies had come together to watch a new Shahid Kapoor release, Mausam, which is not the run-of-the-mill Bollywood film, which would, I would assume, would make both the mother and daughter happy, because it's serious and yet it uses the Bollywood grammar. It does bring in the old world charm when the story begins, and yet it is cast in the Bollywood grammar. And now these spaces of exhibition in the diasporas are spaces in which one finds not just Indian viewers, but all South Asian viewers, particularly viewers from those nations where screening of Hindi films has been banned, given the hostile relations between India and Pakistan, and also in Bangladesh, where they have not been screened for a long time. So during my visit to Jade Complex, I also met these Bangladeshis who were visiting from UK, and one of the highlights of their visits, as I found in the case of the Afghanis and the Pakistanis, was to take in a new Hindi film, and they'd come to watch New York. Apart from the Bangladeshis, I found this young doctor from UK, who was visiting again, a Punjabi doctor, a second generation Indian Punjabi from UK, who was visiting family in Singapore, and she'd come along with her girlfriends who were of different nationalities, a Filipino, a friend from Singapore, and two other friends from UK, white friends from UK. They were accompanying her during this visit to the theatre. But I found the space of the audience, the space of Jade, segmented not only in terms of ethnicity and nation, but also in terms of class, because as opposed to the Bangladeshi expatriate women, the visiting UK Bangladeshi, the well-heeled UK Bangladeshi women, I also met these shy guest workers from Bangladesh. And as we know now that the Singapore has invites a large number of Bangladeshi migrant workers who are largely employed in the construction industry, and sometimes some of them are students. Now, the sole entertainment for these workers after 5 days or 6 days of hard work, when they get their weekly off on Sunday, is to take in a film. While the Tamil migrant workers gravitate towards sometimes to the Rex Theatre when they can afford the price of the tickets, which ranges between $8 to $10 depending on the day of the week you watch. Bangladeshi workers were found in Jade Cineplex, choosing to spend their hard earned money on watching a Hindi film, a John Abraham film. And we met this young couple who had come jade hopping. I wish I could play the song from them, but I'm not able to play the song. Perhaps I could do it later. They sang the entire Kuch Kuch Hota Hai song for my benefit. It was really lovely, and they knew all the lyrics of all the Hindi film songs, which I myself wasn't aware of. And they were not only aware of the songs, they were also up on the gossip on Hindi films. And during this time when Shah Rukh Khan visited Singapore, he had a huge Malay audience coming to greet him. Malay audience of all ages and generations and all sexes coming to greet him too and welcome him to Singapore. Now, from Singapore, I take you to another traditional market of Hindi films, and this, as I said earlier, that in the Western world, the major exports of Hindi films from the 50s, between 56 and 62, out of the 10% of films which were exported to the West, Russia constituted the most important, major market for these films. And in response to a talk I gave on a community radio program in Canada, I received this letter from a Russian audience who has since become a friend and a contributor to a volume I have edited. Through this, we come to know how Russians before the collapse of, we are talking about the pre-global era and before the collapse of the former USSR, how the what was the status of Hindi films in Russia before the collapse, before the era of globalization and before the collapse of the former USSR. And I would read this to you just to, since I do not have not conducted field work in Russia, I draw on her authority, and I thank her for sharing this with me and sharing her paper with me in the edited volume, my edited volume, where she says that for me, as well as for many other Russian people, India is the dreamland, the motherland of philosophy, poetry and tradition. We actually don't see it as some exotic, sunny, sandal-smelling place, as some Westerners probably. In my generation, it's something we grew up with, a pathway to childhood. So this is significant. Before we move on to the new Bollywood audience in the other parts of the West, this testimony of someone who grew up in the former Russia is very important, because in Russia, unlike in the present West, Indian films were not exoticized, as she distinguishes herself from other Westerners and says that it is a pathway to childhood. For example, it was my father who drew my attention to Hitopdesha when I was 5, and we were both fascinated by its complex story within the story plot. My classmates and I used to be great fans of Kipling's films, though when I grew older, I understood that most of his short stories were dictated by the fear of the wild and the unknown, and I think The White Man's Burden was basically inspired by it as well. Now, she talks about having discovered Rabindranath Tagore, and then she goes into her reception of Russian films, of Hindi films in Russia. And from there I move on to Germany. I was told that except for community, there are no screenings of Hindi films in Germany anymore. Except for an occasional community screening, there are no screenings of Hindi films in Germany. This is in 2011. I was surprised to find on my arrival in the tourist town of Heidelberg, when I switched on my television, I found myself watching a film which had women dressed in saris, and I was like quite surprised to see that and on German television, because they seemed to be speaking German. And as I out of curiosity, I continued to watch the film being screened on television. The faces seemed very familiar to me, but I assumed that it was part of some exotic German drama, telesoap or drama, when King Khan appeared on the screen, and I realized I was watching Chak De India, and you wouldn't believe it, but I was watching Chak De India in German, with Shah Rukh Khan speaking German. And then I was informed that Germany has now a market for Hindi films, not only among the South Asians, not only among the diasporas, but also among the Turkish people, the Afghans, other South Pakistanis, the other South Asians, but also among Germans. And this started with the screen airing of a down market channel in Germany, which was largely watched by Turkish and Afghan audience. And these films were screened on the Saturdays, the day I happened to switch on my television set. And it was because these films were being screened on RTL, the channel went up market. It found viewers not only among the working class Turkish and Afghan migrants, but also among mainstream migrants. So the Germany did not have a regular exhibition of Indian films as in Singapore, where they continue to be screened. There are no theatres dedicated to the screening of Indian films in Germany, but they are regularly screened. At least in 2011, they were being shown on television, and other Germans watched them through on DVDs and CDs. But I was extremely surprised to find these posters of Salman Khan's new release, Ready, being posted outside a pub in Heidelberg as one walks out of the railway station and as one walks down the bridge. I found these posters where you can see the dates of the screenings of Ready in different German towns: on 2nd June in München, on 4th June in Köln, on 6th in Hamburg, and 10th June in Hanover. And they are being screened in cinema halls: Kino Neues in München, in Cinemax in Hamburg, in Ludwig NRW in Köln, and Cinemax Nikolai in Hanover. Now, I was told that now there are no more screenings of Hindi films anymore, and they are mainly community screenings. So probably these are community screenings, but they were being publicized in very visible spaces, in very mainstream spaces outside this pub in Germany. So is Germany ready for Salman Khan? It has been ready for Shah Rukh Khan for a long time. In fact, Shah Rukh Khan is a very popular Hindi film actor in Germany. It started with the shooting of his film in of Dil To Pagal Hai in the Black Forest, and subsequently a number of his films have not only been screened, but they have also been shot in different parts of Germany, such as Dawn 2 was being shot at this time. Now, how does Germany look at Bollywood? How do the new audience of Germany, the new Bollywood audience as we may call them, and the new market for Indian films in Germany, how is it viewed there? And how is it different from the viewing or the pleasures that Bollywood films offer in the old diasporas or the traditional markets such as Singapore and Russia? To some extent, I would say that it dovetails into that interest, that brand of Orientalism, which we found the interest in traditional Indian philosophy, religion, Tagore, and the works which we found in markets like Russia. It's the same cult for Indian mysticism, yoga, which creates a taste for Bollywood in Germany. And there's a continuity between the new Orientalist interests in yoga and mysticism and Bollywood in the present. This is at the Heidelberg railway station. I found in the bookshop in the railway station Bollywood films, the Bollywood DVDs of Bollywood films. Incidentally, the two films which I found, the two DVDs I found was one of Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, and the other one, these were with German subtitles and produced in Germany, and the other one was Karan Arjun, an old Shah Rukh Khan starrer. Both were Shah Rukh Khan starrers, but what surprised me even more was that not only were DVDs being sold in this mainstream bookshop in a railway station, but there were also Indian film magazines, Bollywood film magazines being marketed in the available across the counter. Two film magazines, one is called Bollywood and the other one is called Ishq. And both these films are along the lines of Filmfare and other tabloids in India, which carry gossip about the latest gossip about Indian film stars, and they are in German and they're being marketed. But interestingly, these books are stacked in the stacks which are next to the stacks which sell books on yoga, Buddhism, Indian mysticism, art of living, and so on. So you can take a look at these film magazines, Best of Bollywood, which is in English, and there's also an issue of Ishq, which I cannot see here, but I found it in the bookshop. Now, from Heidelberg, we move to Mannheim and we see how Bollywood how a German audience get to watch films in Mannheim. As I was waiting outside this DVD shop in Mannheim, a German couple walked in. And this is the kind of spaces through which Bollywood films have leaked since the 70s. They have been stocked in grocery stores, and they are juxtaposed against all other things Indian, such as henna and bindis and dals and spices. So, it is part of the entire paraphernalia of India, of Indian mysticism, spirituality in the West, and which is being the Indo-Chic that is being marketed in the West. It is in one such shop, Mannheim, in the Turkish Quarter. This is where I found the places from where German audience watch subtitled Indian films. And again, like the spaces in Bangkok, these are pirated DVDs of Bollywood films. And we have this young Turkish woman who picks up bangles after picking up a DVD of a film, and now we meet a young man in another Bollywood based store, which is called Bollywood incidentally, and who aspires to be Shah Rukh Khan. Now, this young man is from Pakistan. His father has started a grocery shop in Mannheim, and he stocks the largest collection of Bollywood videos and DVDs, which are is a shop called Bollywood, not Asia Bazaar. And Asia Bazaar is incidentally the oldest shop which stock DVDs. But the interesting thing is, when I was waiting outside, I was told to go and visit this shop. When I was waiting outside, photographing the signboard, which I don't have in this slide, I found young German boys, teenagers rather, go past me singing Leja Leja, and this came as a surprise. I thought I had misheard them because I thought I was imagining it, but I went closer and I found they were indeed singing Leja Leja. And this came as a big surprise to me, because I was told that the audience for Bollywood films in Germany is largely restricted to women, and that too to young teenage women in Germany. But this was not teenage women, but young teenage young men who were singing the Bollywood song when they saw me dressed in, when they saw an Indian woman taking pictures of a Bollywood store, Bollywood themed store. This is one of the oldest stores which has been there since the 70s, owned by a Sikh who stocks Bollywood merchandise. And from Mannheim we move to Frankfurt. In Frankfurt, once again we see posters of Hindi films, the latest releases as well as the old releases, stacked in Harris Trading Company, owned by Mr. Bobat. And Mr. Bobat has stocked Indian DVDs and video cassettes and audio cassettes of Hindi films. He claims to have the latest collection of audio cassettes in Germany, which has no takers today in the age of DVDs and CDs. And in this shop, so this is one of the oldest shops which has stocked groceries in, and this is again opposite the Hauptbahnhof for the central station in Frankfurt. And during my I hung around the shop for almost an hour to see the kind of people who were visiting his store and the kind of films they were buying. I found a very interesting respondents, very interesting samples who were very disparate in terms of age, in terms of nationality. The first person I got to meet was an Ethiopian who was now resident in Germany, and who came to get his DVDs of Indian films largely because of his nostalgia for homeland, and because he was a big fan of Hindi films when he was in Ethiopia. When he moved to Germany, he continued to watch Indian films, and he seemed to have a preference again for the older films rather than the new films, in contrast to the new Bollywood audience of German films. A few minutes later, a German couple walked in and sought my advice as to what films they ought to be taking, they ought to be watching. They had watched some of the canonical Bollywood films like Kal Ho Na Ho, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, and so on, but they wanted to watch some offbeat films and sought my advice as to which one they should be watching this week. But even more surprising were these middle-aged women who had come to pick up copies of Filmfare and Stardust from the grocery store. And when I asked them about how they got interested in Bollywood in film magazines, one of them volunteered to inform me that she had she began to watch Bollywood films, and she liked them because they were very romantic as compared to German films, and they promoted traditional family values, which a certain generation of German women, particularly women like her, the possibilities for romance, the possibilities of preserving traditional family values, which some of them missed, they found in Indian films, particularly Shah Rukh Khan films. And this middle-aged woman was so inspired by Indian films that she had started learning Hindi so as to be able to understand those films better, and also kept tabs on all the gossip in the Indian film industry by picking up a copy of Filmfare and Stardust and all the latest film magazines. And here we meet Mr. Raju of another DVD store. This is unlike Mr. Popat's store. It's not a grocery store. It's only a DVD store, and it's owned by an Afghan asylum seeker in Germany who had to flee Afghanistan. Most of the owners of the DVD shops in Frankfurt happen to be Hindus or even Muslims from Afghanistan who had to flee Afghanistan after its Talibanization, and many of them had set up these shops, incense shops or DVD shops, which now Mr. Raju spoke fluent Hindi and German, English, and also Punjabi, because from Afghanistan he had first come to India. He had been a garment merchant in Faridabad, and from there he had subsequently moved to Germany. Now in Mr. Raju's shop, I found DVDs. I could buy a DVD of a Hindi film, the latest release. I don't remember, probably it was Wanted or Ready, and I could get that DVD for €2, only for €2, whereas a legally made album of a very old Bollywood film, say Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, was available for something like $12. So unlike Germans who strictly adhere to piracy laws and ask for original albums rather than pirated albums, the South Asian buyers and even some German buyers that I met in the DVD shop were not averse to buying these pirated versions so as to be able to check in the latest Hindi film releases. But in Mr. Raju's shop, I found not just the latest Hindi film releases, but also DVDs of the latest Punjabi films, incidentally manufactured in Italy and marketed by a company in Netherlands. So there was a there was a kind of triangulation of a film DVD which was manufactured in Punjab, and then it was dubbed in Italy, or it was a company. It was a very complicated thing, but the DVDs of Punjabi films which are not available in India, I could buy in this shop in this shop called Dostana in Frankfurt. So, and there's another store in Köln owned by a lady called Kajol, who is again from Afghanistan, and you can see Bollywood merchandise stacked along other grocery items in her shop. So, I conclude by this testimony from a young Canadian student as to why the West, how the West responds to Bollywood films. And of course, she is a student of Indian cinema, so her appreciation of Bollywood films is more it's more informed rather than that of the lay audience. So, she says, when first watching the film, I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't actually seen a Bollywood film before and have only been very incompletely informed by parodies. Therefore, I was very surprised by the modern use of Bollywood tropes. There were two love stories, they were not central to the plot. So, she is talking about the film she has watched. The dance seems to be improvised, young kids having fun. So, what she seems to be saying is that the film still employed staples of Bollywood cinema: girl meets boy, a villain, the sacrificing mother, and expecting the film to end happily, but it was different. So, the contrast of the happy carefree student days against the intensity of their protests and eventually quasi-terrorist acts is what makes the film so gripping. The presence of the white, she is talking about Rang De Basanti, the presence of the white woman was also interesting, from films like Shakespeare Wala and Gandhi to plays like Borderline and novels like Passage to India. It appears that 5 female characters are able to relate to Indian male characters. The kinship is always emphasized. This pattern appeared again in Rang De Basanti, but I was struck by the fact that the relationship between Sue and DJ was never consummated. So, this kind of sums up the response of the new generation of Bollywood audience, such as this young student of a course in film study, a young white student in a course in film studies, who is interested in seeing the integration of the two cultures, and she wants to see more Bombay cinema in the future. But I would conclude by the responses of the young German women who had come to pick up DVDs in the store in Mannheim. When I asked them in my broken German what films they liked, which Bollywood films they had seen and who was their favorite actor, the answer was so many that they couldn't possibly remember the names of the films they had seen or the names of the actors they liked. But it's certainly King Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, who enjoys a great following not only in Germany but in Austria, where I believe fans of Shah Rukh Khan circulate dolls modeled after Shah Rukh Khan as a way of expressing their loyalty as part of his fan club. So, with this I conclude this unit, which compared the traditional markets of Bollywood Hindi cinema with the new markets of Bollywood cinema in the West, and had a in-between market in the West, which displayed elements of both. Thank you.